Nileguide, please welcome the CEO, Mr. Josh Steinitz.
So I'm here in LA, perhaps for the first time, and I've got my manila folder here. And what do I have in my manila folder? Well, I've got a guidebook, I've got a map, I've got a newspaper that I've pulled some articles from, I've got my booking confirmation for the hotel, and I've got a magazine with some ideas about what I might do in LA. That's a lot of junk, and there's got to be a better way to plan a trip than having all this material. And with Nileguide, there is. What if all of that could just be this, all tied up in one nice, neat little package? So Nileguide is the only place where you'll find one-stop shop solutions for customized trip planning, so we'd save you time. Nileguide also gives you current and up-to-date information. We're the only site that gives you constantly updated local knowledge from local experts all over the world, real people, real users, guidebooks, and trusted brands. And we give you relevant information that'll help you plan the trip that's right for you. So we actually combine content, booking, and personalized search all under one roof. So let's say that I had Nileguide to plan this trip here to Focusrite instead of this manila folder here. What would I do? Well, let's pop over to our homepage here, and hopefully that's up. What you'll see here is our core value proposition, right? We're like a personalized travel agent. We give you personalized travel recommendations based on your preferences. We help you build your own custom trip itinerary with innovative planning and booking tools. And we give you a free customized guidebook to take with you on your trip. So let's pretend we're going to come to Focusrite for this conference and see how you might use Nileguide to do that. So I'll click on Los Angeles here from our destination selector. And here we take you to kind of a snapshot, some context, the lay of the land. So this is really designed to give you the context to help you dive into trip planning. Here you'll see trips from local experts in LA, real users, real people. You'll also see top-rated activities, restaurants, hotels, nightlife, and you'll even see neighborhood information. So what's Hollywood like? I've never been here before. I've heard of it, certainly, but what's kind of the scene like? Well, I can click on it and check it out. There you go, local information about Hollywood. Now, here I am at Focusrite, and I know that we're staying at the Renaissance Hollywood. I know that's where the conference is. So I'll click over on the lodging tab. And surprise, surprise, there the Renaissance Hollywood is right at the top of the list. And no, we didn't game that. But what you'll see here is actually a bunch of useful information. You'll see that it's highly rated by users. You'll see that it's won some awards as, for example, a Best of City Search tourist hotel. You see that it's a Nile editor's pick. You can do all kinds of fancy filtering by cost or preference, hip, boutique, family-friendly, etc. But let's say we're interested in knowing more about this hotel because we were here for the conference. Here you'll actually see real information from our local expert here on the ground in LA, as well as a bunch of other content, maps and location information, ratings and reviews from other travelers, Travel Post, City Search, Nile. Oh, that's cool. It won a AAA 4 Diamond Award. It won a Best of City Search Award. What else is nearby? Here's some cool bars and restaurants in the area, things to see and do. And in fact, even though I've already booked this hotel since I'm staying here tonight, let's pretend I hadn't. I might click through and check on specific dates to book this for my trip. And I could click through, check rates, and boom, we give you a real-time and price availability for this property. So I'm not going to go through and book that because we're here and I want to do this quickly, but what I will do is add it to my trip itinerary, and it flies immediately into my trip cart sitting there on the side, Josh's Focusrite trip. So now let's look at the restaurants tab. We've got a ton of content, real breadth and depth. So here you see we have over 1,000 restaurants in LA. This is a real distinguishing factor. But how do I cut through all that clutter to find something that's relevant for me? Well, in a couple days from now, I have a business lunch. I need to take a potential client out for lunch during the conference. So I might select business as one of my preference choices. The recommendations will update in real time as I do that. And now, I also don't want to go too far afield. I don't have a whole lot of time. So I'll select Hollywood as my neighborhood choice. And if I know this guy, he's not a real adventurous eater, I'm not going to select anything too exotic. I'll just stick with American cuisine. And great, we've distilled this huge list of 1,000 restaurants in LA down to a short number that are relevant for me and my needs. So I'll scroll down and look for something that catches my eye. Great, Grill on Hollywood. It's highly rated by users. It's 5 out of 5. It's won an award for best power lunch spot. Perfect. Again, I'll click through and check it out. You can see what our local expert here in LA has to say about it, an ideal location, some other information, again, what's nearby, and I can even click through and reserve it on OpenTable if I so chose. So I'll just add that to my trip plan as well. And now, I don't know about you guys, but one of the things I like to do when I'm sitting inside all day, especially in warm weather like this, I like to try to make some time for stretching my legs, maybe getting some exercise. And so what I like to do is sometimes go for a run. But I look for things all over the city. Guidebooks won't really tell me what's nearby what. So perhaps you see we have a strenuousness slider here. Maybe I'm looking for something kind of active or intense, just to get a sweat going after sitting inside all day. And I'd also like to find something close to the hotel. So I'll select Renaissance Hollywood as my filtering point for the search results. And there you go, Runyon Canyon. Looks cool, natural beauty. Maybe I'll check it out. And great, a little known but beautiful hiking point in the middle of Hollywood. Sounds perfect for my needs. So I'll add that to my trip plan as well. And then finally, after a long day of meeting and being in conferences and all that kind of stuff, I could really use a drink. In fact, probably after this talk, I'll go straight to the green room. What I'd really like to do is also find something that's stumbling distance from the hotel and something that maybe is a place where I can lounge and relax. So maybe I'll click on upscale, and I'll look for perhaps a cocktail bar. I want some place where I can just hang out and talk, not really live music. And again, want to find something close to the hotel. So I'll select the Renaissance Hollywood as my anchor point there. And boom, great. Here's a couple good recommendations right around the corner from the hotel within a quarter of a mile. Great, I'll add a couple of these to my trip itinerary as well. And now we've got a really good list of potential ideas for what I'm going to do while I'm here in LA. So let's turn this into a real trip. This is really part of what makes Nileguide a one-stop shop. What this list right here is already more than you might find in a guidebook today. But what do you do with this? Well, I'll click Proceed to Trip Planner, and this is where I make this actionable into a real trip itinerary. So here you see I've got the name of my trip, I've added some other information. You see I've put in my air information. I flew in on Virgin America yesterday. And what I'll do is I'll just drag my hotel into my calendar here. I'm staying at the Renaissance Hollywood for 4 nights. Boom, it slots right into my calendar. Let's see, tomorrow I'm going to go out and, or this is already Monday, but we'll ignore that. I'll have lunch at the Grill on Hollywood. Perhaps the next day I'll go for a run and go for a drink after the day is done. So you can see you can really easily create a trip that's right for you. You can also take different cuts at it, right? Maybe you're a map person. So maybe I want to interact with my itinerary in a map view. You can do that. You can interact in a list view. Different people travel in different ways. That's one thing we know about travelers. There's no one-size-fits-all pigeonhole approach. The key is to be flexible, but also be intuitive enough so that people can easily navigate between the two. There's no such thing as a family traveler or a business traveler. You might travel for different trips at different times, or even on the same trip. You might want to mix and match. We enable you to do that. We even enable collaboration and sharing. So if one of my colleagues was joining me here at this conference, I could share this trip with him. He could add suggestions, he could collaborate in it, or just view it. So it's very flexible. And finally, when you're ready, you can click Print This Trip, and you see all the items you've added to your trip itinerary, and you'll see all the background information, the guidebook content, the weather, how to get here, history, all that kind of stuff, fun facts. And maybe I don't want fun facts. And maybe I know it's going to be smoky and hot. I don't need weather information. And I'll just click Download Now, and what we will do is dynamically generate a customized downloadable guidebook for me to print and take with me on my trip. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So here you see a really cool personalized free guide with my name, my itinerary, my dates of travel, my table of contents. And here's my day-to-day itinerary with my own notes, everything tied up in this nice, neat little package, an overview map of the city with key landmarks, a place for my own notes, and goes straight into my day-to-day itinerary. It's not Wikipedia links, it's not snapshots or sections of guidebooks. It's my trip, my hotels, This is something that I built that was a little bigger than just the few ideas I added during this demo, but you'll see this is entirely custom and entirely free. So it's a very compelling value proposition for the user, and we'll actually have a mobile version of this delivered in Q1, so that not just a PDF, but actually delivered to your iPhone on your trip. So that's going to be very powerful. So just to kind of recap the points I'd like to leave with you, number one, Nileguide saves you time, because we're really a one-stop shop where you can do everything you need to build your own custom trip plan. Number two, Nileguide gives you current and up-to-date information, which you can't overestimate in this day and age. And we do that with a combination of trusted sources from outside Nile, as well as our own network of local experts around the globe. We have over 100 of them. And third, we help you find relevant information so that you can plan the trip that's right for you. So the action that I'd like you guys to take is next time you're planning a trip, try Nileguide. Try it. And the benefit that I think you'll get is that you'll have more fun planning your trip, and you'll ultimately have a more satisfying trip while you're there. And so just to add one last bit in, we're technically innovating by rating and reviewing hundreds of thousands of points of interest around the world. We're business innovating by combining transactions and advertising. And we're marketplace innovating by being a one-stop shop for custom trip planning, ultimately being a personal concierge for the world. Thank you.
Nileguide.